News at Maria, good morning. I'm Katarina Paristikov. People evicted from a large squatter settlement in Papua New Guinea's capital 2 years ago want a slice of a new government fund. Following the recent Bushwara eviction, the government announced a 20 million kina fund to help those evicted to resettle. A human rights lawyer, Danny Gonal, who represents thousands of people from the Murata New Block, which was cleared 2 years ago, says his clients need to have access to this funding. He says there are still several hundred families living on the streets of Port Moresby because they can't find or afford accommodation.
This money is not forthcoming, and I think there would be certain criteria the settlers have to meet before they are entitled to those money. But that was only an announcement made. So we put forward the situation the Marada settlers are in, so that would be included as well in that proportion for resettlement.
Danny Gonal says whether 20 million kina is enough to resettle tens of thousands of people is another issue. 1 year on from twin cyclone disaster, Judy and Kevin, Vanuatu is building back but not better. Prime Minister Shalo Salwai says people whose homes were destroyed have been in limbo for what feels like a lifetime. Mr Salwai says something that cannot be replaced is the land. He says waves generated by the cyclones and sea level rise has destroyed beaches across Vanuatu.
I'm afraid that we lose all the beauties of our land, that our kids, our children for tomorrow won't see. Maybe we'll see things better, but not in the
Shalo Salwai has flown directly to Suva, Fiji overnight for the Foreign Ministers meeting. This is the last big Talanoa before Pacific leaders make some big decisions, including on climate financing. New Zealand's Deputy Prime Minister says the Pacific region is important for the country's long-term security and interests. Winston Peters, who is also the Foreign Affairs Minister, has left for Fiji on his first stop on a four-country Pacific tour, which also includes the Marshall Islands, the Federated States of Micronesia, and Palau. Mr. Peters says the previous government left a void of non-contact in the Pacific.
People think that, charity begins at home, but in your long-term interests as a country, you neglect your neighborhood at your peril. Last other countries, they were focused on what we need to do with like-minded countries. It's called democracy, it's called freedom, it's called the right to maintain one's culture.
The trip will mean Mr. Peters will have visited 14 of the 17 Pacific Islands Forum member nations. He has a goal of visiting them all by the end of the year. A commercial operation to recycle used lead-acid batteries in Kiribati could be replicated and used in other Pacific nations to manage hazardous waste. Kiribati's lead-acid battery recycling system was highlighted at the 4th Clean Pacific Roundtable in Funafuti, Tuvalu. Alice Lenny of Kiribati's Solid Waste Management Program says lead-acid batteries are some of the most common toxic chemicals you'll find around people's normal living environment in the Pacific. On average, Kiribati exports about 20 tonnes of batteries once every 6 months, mostly to Australia and Asia. A cultural historian and museum curator in Guam says ongoing global conflicts may cause people to second-guess whether the US military presence on the island makes them feel safe. Dr. Michael Bavakwa says some cling to the United States as the defender of the island, while others feel threatened by their presence.
The United States and their militaries everywhere around the island, and you see that with strength and power. And so it's very normal to feel like we need more of that to feel safer. But then on the other hand, it's also possible to see it and feel this can't be making us safe. Look at all of these planes, look at all of these bombs, look at all this stuff.
The US military population in Guam currently sits at 26,000. It's expected to increase by almost 20,000 over the next 15 years. The former Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating has again criticised the country's Labour government for prioritising the United States' interests. The Albanese government has reportedly mid undisclosed political commitments with AUKUS partners to transfer naval nuclear material to Australia, which may also leave Australia with nuclear waste. The see US-Australia relations as crucial, the ABC reports Mr. Keating saying Australia doesn't need America for defence.
What is the threat? And that is an invasion. An invasion comes in an armada. With satellites today, you see the armada form to leave its harbour. You see it for 10 or 15 days come to Australia, and you will sink every one of them on the way. You don't need the United States to defend Australia.
The agreement between the US, UK and Australia will need to be ratified by each AUKUS partner before coming into effect. In world news, Ukraine's president has praised his country's army 3 days into an assault on the Russian region of Kursk. Without acknowledging the operation, Volodymyr Zelensky said everyone can see Ukrainian troops know how to surprise and achieve results. The BBC's Steve Rosenberg reports on Russia's reaction.
For Moscow, this is a huge embarrassment. The cross-border attack took the country's political and military leadership by surprise. Today, Russia's hawkish former president, Dmitry Medvedev, called on Moscow to respond by seizing more Ukrainian land, up to Kyiv and beyond. And yet, after 3 days of fierce fighting, Russia has been unable to restore control over its own territory in Kursk region. The authorities will almost certainly try to use what is happening to bolster the Kremlin's false narrative that Russia is not the aggressor.
In sport, Papua New Guinea weightlifter Maria Balu has received praise for his performance at the Paris Olympics. He finished 5th in the men's 61-kilogram event on Thursday morning. His coach, Willie Tamasi, says the lifter gave all he had and he went down fighting. Fiji weightlifting coach Henry Elder says seeing Balu make the top 5 in the Olympics was huge. Fiji remains the only Pacific Islands nation with a medal. And the Fiji under-21 netball team is preparing for the Oceania World Youth Cup qualifier in Cook Islands in September by taking part in the Rising Star Fiji 21 and Under Tour. The tournament is scheduled for the Vodafone Arena in Suva from August 19th to 23rd. Netball Fiji says current World Youth Champions New Zealand, runners-up Australia and Singapore runners-up Australia as well as Singapore will be part of the tournament. That's the latest news and sport from RNZ Pacific. For more on our story, head to our website rnz.co.nz/Pacific. Controversial legacy in the Pacific. Katie Wilson from the Haka Party incident, cracking yarns and tall tales from the bush with Sam the Trapper, family well-being in the tough times of separation with Jill Golston, and veteran actor Tom on the Plane, place favourite. I'm Susie Ferguson. Join me on Saturday morning from 8 on RNZ Nashville. Don't forget you can get more on all the day's top stories on our website, rnz.co.nz. The forecast from mid-service to midnight, Northland and Auckland have fine spells and a few showers. Waikato, Coromandel, Bay Plenty, Taupo, Waitomo and Taumarunui, areas of morning fog and then fine at times. Isolated showers clear this evening. Taranaki to Kapiti Coast, including Taihape, mostly cloudy with scattered showers. For Gisborne and northern Hawke's Bay, there's rain. It could be heavy, easing to isolated showers this morning. Chance of thunderstorms in the ranges this afternoon. The remainder of Hawke's Bay, also Wairarapa and Wellington. Occasional rain for Wellington and southern Wairarapa, spreading elsewhere this afternoon. Nelson, Marlborough, Buller, Westland and Fiordland, mainly fine. Showers in Marlborough becoming confined to the Kaikoura coast this morning. Canterbury scattered rain, clearing south of Ashburton this morning. Otago and Southland, mainly fine. However, there's some early patchy drizzle near the coast. And the Chisholm Islands, 1 or 2 showers. For the main centres, Tāmaki, Makaurau, Auckland, scattered showers, but fine breaks in between. Southwesterlies and high of 15. Tauranga, mainly fine with a chance of an afternoon or evening shower. Afternoon westerlies, high of 16. Kirikiriroa, Hamilton has fog clearing to mainly fine this morning, but the odd shower till evening. Afternoon southwesterlies, 14. Te Whanganui outside Wellington, scattered rain, storm southerlies and 10. Ōtautahi, Christchurch, scattered rain easing to a few showers and fine breaks this afternoon. Southwest winds, 10. And in Ōtepoti, Dunedin, there's cloud morning and evening, otherwise mainly fine, 10 degrees. You're listening to RNZ National, and it's 9 minutes past 7. Kia ora, thank you very much, Nicola. This is a morning report. Well, New Zealand has won 2 gold medals and a bronze at the Olympic Games overnight this morning. Just after 5 a.m, Elise Andrews won the women's Keirin at the Velodrome in a dominant final performance. Andrews is trying to put motion on the hip. The drive now on the race for the line, and it is Emma Finucane who's going to push this to the line. It is. Martin pulled back. Andrews is going to do this from New Zealand. She's going to take the gold medal here at the Olympic Games. And that is, she has had superb form coming through these rounds. Elise Andrews becomes the Olympic Games gold medalist for New Zealand. And of course, that adds to the silver medal she won in the women's team sprint earlier in the week. She's now an Olympic and world champion in the Keirin format. Andrews still has the individual sprint to come over the weekend, where she will be another strong medal chance. She talked to Sky Sport after the win.
I think on a track like this, it's great to be in number one coming into the bell, and I keep on remembering things about the race. Just as we talked, I remember seeing Finucane right on my hip coming into the bell, and I knew I just needed to accelerate and keep going.
And when you think about it, you're just the second person to win a gold medal on the track at the Olympic Games for New Zealand, Aotearoa. How special is that for you?
I feel like that's pretty insane. Those are the kind of things that are so special, and those are the sort of things that will take a long time to process and a long time to sink in. Sarah Ulmer is an amazing bike rider. She's an amazing person, so to be beside her is incredible.
Well, that was Elise Andrews speaking with Sky Sports earlier. We also talked to our reporter Felicity Reid outside the Velodrome earlier this morning. Here's what she had to say.
She had every right to be confident. She was coming into this in good form. She's a world champion. And in the last Olympics, she picked up silver. So there's probably something in her mind that she wanted to make sure to go out and kind of upgrade that medal. And she definitely did that today. She came through second in her quarterfinal, won her semi-final, and then won that gold by 0.62 seconds. She got ahead on that penultimate lap and just couldn't be caught. She won over the Netherlands' Kiki van der Waal. And so this was quite a tight race. And today I was lucky enough to be in the Velodrome, and it's the first time I've been in there during these Olympics. And man, it's not a big arena, but once the finals and all the medals are on the line, the crowd is so loud, regardless of what country they're supporting. There's definitely a lot of New Zealanders in the crowd, but there is an amazing atmosphere in there. And so they're really getting in behind a lot of tight racing, which is seen today. Elise's perspective on this, she's a 23-year-old who's really starting to dominate this discipline and really take it over and kind of show that maybe this is something that New Zealand will be looked at, because also who made it through to the semi-finals was Elise's teammate Rebecca Petch. So she, I guess maybe unfortunately for her, ended up in the same semi-final as Elise, but Rebecca only managed to come through 12th, so she didn't get into that gold medal race. She was racing for a minor placing. So I think as somebody who was at the last Olympics in a BMX, she's probably pretty happy with that result.
Now, earlier in the night, just before midnight, the women's K4 500 team won New Zealand's fourth gold medal at the Paris Games. The team of Dame Lisa Carrington, Alicia Hoskin, Olivia Brett and Tara Vaughan held off Germany and Hungary to claim the gold medal, the sixth gold medal of Dame Lisa's Olympic career.
Olympic champion representing New Zealand, Lisa Carrington, Alicia Hoskin, Olivia Brett, Tara Vaughan.
Was at the kayaking. I talked to him a little earlier.
It's the first time that they've medalled at the Olympics in the K4. Lisa Carrington obviously has done so well in the K1 and the 200 and 500 events. They're mostly 500 now, and she has really brought through these young paddlers in the last 2.5 years. The crew, not this crew, but the K4 finished fourth in Tokyo. Alicia Hoskin was a part of that, along with Dame Lisa, and I would have to say that Carrington has guided this for over the last 2.5 years. You'll give credit to everyone else and to the team and the likes, but I think without Carrington's drive, this four possibly wouldn't have got to where they got to today. They were world champions, of course, they had them on course, and to have Carrington sitting at the front of the boat is obviously just what you need, the inspiration to do